want to come this way a little bit so that you can get in the Instagram?
Sure.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our live with our birthday balloons.
You can't see those on Facebook, but you can on Instagram.
So, my live post did not post on Instagram today. I'm having issues. I'm having technical issues. What is this saying? Okay. Hello, Brian Day. Make sure that you say hello when you pop on. Wave, tell us hello, let us know that you're here. Caroline.
Yeah?
Come here real quick. Hope y'all are good tonight. We have been in mode of celebrating birthday today in church. Hey, Miss Meadows just popped on.
Hello.
We just talked about you recently, Miss Meadows. So if you're still there, there's Caroline saying hello. Alright, off you go. So yes. Hi and hello. I was waiting to see if a few other people hopped on, but we were running a couple minutes late already.
We have had an interesting day.
We have had an interesting day.
A little bit different than normal.
So we went to church at 2 o'clock today.
Yeah, that was different.
It was very odd.
2 o'clock, and we still were pushing to get out the door on time.
Well, I mean, it was a very odd time I struggled to stay awake. To go and sit at 2 o'clock. So it was very different, very different. I'll be interested to find out if the location has determined that time. We're going to dinner with the pastor and his wife tomorrow. And so I'm interested to know if the location is what has determined that time, or if they picked that time, surely, because they have little kids. So anyway,
yeah, it
was interesting. It's a good morning or a good day. Anyway, it really threw us off. Kevin got up at the end and said, "Well, good morning, church," and they were all like, "Afternoon." So anyway,
they did mention that happens to them often.
Yeah.
I think they're all accustomed to morning as well, and they've shifted for logistical reasons. And so, yeah, but it was good. It was a neat opportunity to connect with them through worship, and then they had me share at the end what we do, and we'll get to connect with that couple, the planter and his wife, tomorrow night for dinner. So we're looking forward to that.
We're excited. So if you're just hopping on, hey, Jimmy and crew, whoever's there. If you're just hopping on, well, I guess in Facebook you can't really see them. No. But in Instagram you can see our purple balloons. Today is Claire's 15th birthday, and so we've been celebrating today. Although it's a little tricky to find, I told Kevin tonight at dinner, it's super interesting being in Canada and speaking English everywhere you go, yet feeling like you're speaking a foreign language.
Our waitress, I don't know if there was a communication barrier or...
I don't know. It's hard to, so very, very, very few. This was a surprise to me. We'll just talk about Canada for a little while and then we'll backtrack. So it was a surprise to me that very few restaurant establishments translate across the border. So you're going to see McDonald's. I'm trying to think what things we have seen, like a Firehouse Subs, a McDonald's, Starbucks,
Wendy's. Yeah,
I've seen a couple.
Saw one today.
Beyond that, though.
Yeah, beyond that, A&W, which you don't see a lot in the States, you see a ton of them here.
Yes.
But beyond that, you don't see any of the normal...
Like your normal chain restaurants.
Yeah, like sit-down restaurants. You see some of the fast food, but none of the sit-down restaurants. And so we were struggling to find... Well, that's the other thing is there's such a diverse international population that there are wonderful Chinese restaurants, Japanese restaurants, Vietnamese restaurants.
Yeah, but I even saw today when I was looking, I mean, like Sri Lankan food.
Yeah.
And
everything but American food.
Or, I mean, I hate to say American food, because they found like a couple of steakhouses or places that call themselves New Canadian Food.
Right.
It's just very interesting because just to
they would call it American food too.
Yeah, maybe so. Anyway, it's so you have to really like searching for a restaurant that we could all go eat at as a family is a major brain like
it's
brain
easier.
challenge.
It's easier just to come back here and cook something that we know they'll like.
Yeah.
So.
Because every place you have to click on, I feel like I have to click on everything and figure out what it is and look at a menu, and so it's just a major brain. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Brain drain. That's a good.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yes, we've celebrated today, Claire's birthday. We did find a restaurant to go eat at. It was okay. It wasn't stellar. It was kind of like Applebee's-esque.
Yeah.
Would that be inaccurate?
That would be perfect. Tifton Applebee's.
So, anyway, we told Claire that we owe her a birthday dinner when we get back to the States.
So, rewinding a little bit, the last time we came to you live, we were in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We had just attended church at the church at Mon River, and we were prepping for a big week in Pittsburgh, and we had a great time in Pittsburgh.
Yes. So we had a busy week. I think we told you, we'll recap quickly. We had gotten to go. We met the Pages, who's where we went to church. We met them 2 years ago when we first started. They were one of the first couples that we met, and they were pre-launch at that point, which means that they had not started regular services for their church. And so then the second time we came back through Pittsburgh, it was a holiday weekend, and they were having a non-traditional, like more of a gathering, like a breakfast gathering in someone's home. And so this time, being our third time through Pittsburgh, we were super excited to be able to actually attend their church service. So it was really cool. So we got to do that last Sunday. And then from there, the week just kind of...
Yeah, I got to spend some time with a church planter that we had also met a couple years previous. Got to have coffee with him before he headed out of town on Monday. And then Tuesday, we went over to his house. And because he was out of town, it was actually his son's first baseball practice. His sister was going to gymnastics.
Yeah, they have 3 kids. And
so it was his first ever baseball practice, but it was also my first ever time taking someone to baseball practice.
So Kevin got to take Samuel to his baseball practice, and they had anyway, it worked out good. It was one of those things that just the way that, again, timing where we could just slide into their lives for the evening, and I got to take Aaron out to dinner, and the girls babysat, and Kevin got to take Samuel to ball practice, and it was just it worked out to be a fun night all the way around for everybody. So
yeah, it was pretty cool to be able to. He got done with practice, and we got in the truck, and he FaceTimed his dad to tell him all about practice, and
yeah. So it was a good night.
So yeah.
And then we ended up on Thursday. You have that pillar meeting.
Yeah, we went and spent time with. Earlier in the day, we took care of one of the Page's children. 2 of them were at school. We took care of another one so that they could go to a doctor's appointment. That was super exciting to get good news from that appointment. They are expecting a little one, and they've had struggles in that area, so we were super excited to celebrate with them the good news of that doctor's appointment. They're about 14 weeks, and so they were excited about that as well. And then I got to attend a Pillar meeting. They were having just a little city meeting for the Pillar Network, which is a smaller sub-network.
Took my shoe off, sorry.
Some of the planters in Pillar are part of the Send Network. Some of them are not. And so it's just another network of planters that are like-minded and are planting in that area. And so that was cool to be able to be a part of that, meet some other church planters at that gathering. And then Friday we were packed up and ready to go, and we stopped for one last time to spend time with the Cole family all together. So we went and had brunch with them over there near on our way out of town.
Yeah, we actually packed up. Everybody was ready. We were in the truck, and we drove away from that campground before 10 o'clock, which is like record timing for us.
It's a major accomplishment for this crew.
So we did that Friday, and then we headed off for a weekend of kind of play and fun that we have had planned for a few months or a couple of months.
Yeah, that was Labor Day weekend to kind of catch you up on where we were at in the timeline here.
we planned Kevin's cousin that you hear us talk about every so often. We have been to visit her, and she lives in outside of Rochester, New York, and so she's not far from Niagara Falls. And one of the things that we had wanted to see this year, since we've been going into Canada, we really wanted to see Niagara Falls from the Canadian side.
The better view.
Yeah, so in the beginning when we first set out, we got to see Niagara again and do the whole tour from the American side, but this year we really wanted to see from the Canadian side, and so we planned a whole weekend, and she met us over there, and we ended up having lots of fun. We came away with lots of tips if you're ever going to go to the Canadian side of Niagara Falls, with how to do things and how to see the most and get the most bang for your buck. But anyway, we had a fun weekend.
I posted a video today of our the chance we had to get to see the fireworks, and so they do fireworks every night, and so me and Casey and Sandra and Caitlin all went back down. The other girls were wore out and were like, we're okay without fireworks. So we went back down there, and they just do a quick fireworks show, but they do a great fireworks show. So it was about 5 minutes long, but
They do
it
it
was
every night.
Yeah, they
in
do
the
it every
summertime.
night. So if they did a huge long fireworks show, they'd go broke.
Yeah.
So.
It was really neat, though. We ended up getting to see a lot, and really enjoyed that weekend, just being able to explore some new space, and so then we headed back.
Yeah, so we spent this past week, we were over in Rochester. That's after the weekend. We spent the week in Rochester area, just outside of there, and just did a lot of prep work for our next 2 weeks. This week in Toronto, next week in Montreal. A lot of the communication, getting schedules set up, and we have got a busy schedule for this week, which is exciting.
I decided to go ahead and gamble, and I did big grocery haul. We went to Costco and loaded up with meat. They didn't care last time what food I brought into Canada. It was only the United States that cared about food, and so I decided I was going to bring it all in and gamble, and so anyway,
we
it
made
paid
it.
off. So we ended up crossing this time on Friday. This would be our third different border that we've crossed, right, into Canada. So this time we crossed right at Niagara Falls, which is the Rainbow Bridge. So you often, if you've ever seen or heard anything about Niagara, there's a bridge that you can walk across, and that's the Rainbow Bridge. And so it's also a border crossing. And so we crossed there this time. It was interesting because this is the first time that there has been a designated
RV.
like space for RVs versus regular motor vehicles. And so there were signs for RVs and buses to go to the left and kind of go in a separate area and around the building. And so the way it took us was around the building to just stop and have a border agent come out of the building and ask us questions.
We were nervous.
And I thought, this will be the first time we're about to get searched. And so he came out and ended up kind of chatting with us for a little bit. He was super nice, and he said, okay, I'll be right back. And he took our passports in and came back out, and he said, have a great week, or have a great day. And I was like, so anyway, so we got here to Toronto we stopped along the way Friday.
Yeah.
In the southern part of, would you call that the southern part of Toronto?
A suburb. We were about an hour outside of Toronto, but it's all part of the Toronto metro area. Toronto is ginormous.
We can't quite figure it out.
Yeah, it's really big. It encompasses a lot, it feels like. And unlike U.S. cities that spread out, once Toronto spreads out, it gets to little pockets, and then there's a bunch of high-rises out what seems like in the middle of nowhere, but you're still
it doesn't seem like there's a downtown area. Maybe there is. We haven't been down there yet.
Yeah, we haven't been down there.
Anyway.
But
we stopped.
We had made a connection with one of the church planters in the Hamilton area, and he invited us to their home, which was very gracious of him. And I said, well, we're going to be traveling through. And I sent him a picture of the truck and the RV. I said, this is how we travel, so I feel like probably this wouldn't be the best thing for your neighborhood. We may need to meet somewhere that we can get into a parking lot. And he agreed that, yes, that would be difficult in his neighborhood, and that he had never seen an RV that big before. So we ended up meeting him at a mall. His family was scheduled to meet with us. Something came up. They weren't able to, but we were able to connect with him and just get to hear his story a little bit. He is from Kuwait. His wife is from Dubai. They're both Indian.
They both grew
but
up.
they grew up in those areas, went back to India for school, and then just both felt like they didn't really belong there, and so they moved to Canada, and then 3 years ago moved to the Hamilton area to plant this church. And
it was not the McGibbons, Chris. So maybe we need to find out who the McGibbons are.
maybe so.
But anyway, oh yeah, not the same family. Okay. So anyway, it was interesting. We met him at this really nice mall, and then we ended up getting to this campground. So we are pretty far north of Toronto. It was very difficult to find something in Toronto that was convenient campground-wise, because the one thing that's a little bit closer in is a park that they're redoing, I think, all of the campground. Anyway, it was closed for the season, so
Yeah.
we're hauled north, and we were dark getting here, and we're in a place where a lot of people have seasonal spots, and so we provided them quite the show. Rolling up in
They
here
were
after
all
dark.
really concerned about this big, huge trailer coming in, that we were going to hit someone's truck and not be able to get into
They
our
kept wanting to help
site.
us park, and
So
anyway,
we showed them how
We tried
people
to
from
be-
Georgia back in.
we tried to be nice and not tell them to leave us alone. We do this every week. So anyway.
We were very kind and gracious, and we showed off.
Yeah, Kevin backed it right in. So anyway, yeah, so we have Kevin especially, but we have a really busy week. Girls and I are going to do school, but then Kevin has lunch and dinner and breakfast, and there's something every day this week.
So I have a lunch tomorrow with the Sin City missionary from Toronto, and then we have dinner together as a family with another family, the pastor that we went to church with him today. So that's tomorrow night. Tuesday night we have dinner with another family. Wednesday I have a
Couple of-
club meeting at one of the
yeah.
universities with one of the church planners, and then lunch with he and a pastor that's in town visiting him. We'll share lunch together on
Sorry.
Wednesday, and then Thursday I have a breakfast with a guy that just finished assessment and is getting ready to plant a church. He's not launched yet, but he's in that process as well. And so,
Yeah.
and then another
Busy week.
gentleman reached out to me, had gotten my email and forgotten to respond, and so I got a message from him this morning, and so I'm looking to schedule something with him before we leave as well. So
Yeah.
lots
Busy-
happening. It's
Busy week.
it's another case of the Sin City missionaries in Canada have been extremely welcoming and hospitable and very helpful in getting meetings set up as we have met with different people in the city.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at. We will, when we
I get
see...
tired just talking about it.
I know. When we see you next week, we will be in Montreal, so we will, at that point, have knocked off our 4th Canadian province. So I'm
in
a little
our
bit...
32nd Sin City.
Yeah, Montreal will be our last Sin City. So be watching. Another thing, we did do a follow-up interview this week.
We just got a message from somebody that's in Toronto.
No, it's from that sweet lady in...
Anyway, okay,
Yes.
never mind. I couldn't quite read it.
Yeah, so we are, I was trying to, I'm like, what am I trying to thought? Be watching. So we did a follow-up interview this past week. Now that we've hit all 32 Sin Cities, I don't know how many of you saw the Baptist Press article that they did back last year, the end of last year. And so there's going to be a follow-up article in the next couple of weeks that will be kind of now that we've hit all 32 Sin Cities. So be watching. We'll be sure to share that when it comes out. So.
Yeah, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, we'll see you next week from Quebec, where everyone around us will be speaking French. It's going to be very interesting.
It's going to be the most foreign feeling place that
Yeah.
we've been.
I think so. So it's going to be very interesting. But yeah, we'll see you from Quebec.
Most of my meetings there are going to have to be with the Sin City missionary attending the meeting, because he's going to have to translate for me.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah, lots of new stuff happening on our YouTube channel as well, and all of our social media sites. I don't know if you saw this week that, for those of you that follow along, we launched a new travel and RV social media account. And so we're kind of trying to get things in 2 different places so that you can follow ministry and RV life if you'd like to. So anyway, lots happening in the background that we've been working on over the last few weeks. Make sure that you follow along, ask us any questions. We love answering questions, so make sure that you send those our way and we can find a way to answer them. So Anyway,
Y'all have a good week.
signing off. We'll see you next week.
Bye.